Hey, welcome back to Vice Grip Lodge. A guy is at the museum getting ready for our first ever, the inaugural Cars and Coffee. Now the museum is not open yet, that's still under construction, but I wanted to have a cup of joe with a couple friends. And that has escalated quickly into chaos, and I have made some critical mistakes. A multitude of them. Nonetheless, we're trudging forward. We've got a bunch of heavy equipment here. We've got cleanup crews. I'm working overtime through the night trying to get this place ready. You guys can come along for the ride. We're gonna have a car show. Got another truck coming in. Little over 20 tons per load. So for some random reason, I just decided to have a Cars and Coffee event. There's not a lot going on in January for car enthusiasts. And I'm actually doing a automotive revival in the area, really close to the museum. And I thought, well, I could bop over with my project rig. So let's invite a couple friends. And I was thinking maybe 40 cars. And it sounded like 400 are on the way or more. There's already people circling the block. We're a couple days out. That's got me a little worried. Now, intentionally, you may not have heard of this at all, or even knew that this happened. I did make a couple posts on the Insulator and the Face Space, and I waited until right before the event to try to minimize how many people were gonna show up. And I know that sounds weird, but we obviously have a limit to how many vehicles we could park here. And the last thing I wanted is a family to pile into a rig, drive a long distance, or take time off work, or put in for a sick day, get here and have nowhere to park and have to just be turned around and leave and then be upset with me. I don't want that. So we're trying to minimize essentially how many people show up, and then we can kind of figure this out. We're going to keep doing this. We might have to rent a park or a fairground or something. We'll see what happens. This is just a little test. We're just boop to see what happens. Also, it forced me to make some pretty critical investments into the property. We got to finish, well, not finish, we're moving towards finishing where we demolish those buildings. We got to clean up behind the building. I'm just going to show you guys everything that's going on right now. So this was very last minute. I called my buddy Chris. Do-it-yourself dumpsters and demolition, they're back. And these are the guys that are out here. They're kind of just doing some patching for me, and we'll talk about that in a second. And they're gonna bring back a dumpster for me for the Cars and Coffee for free, which is great. So big thanks to these guys. They always show up for me and do great work. And we got gravel work going on over here. Let's go take a look at this really quick. I gotta put some caution tape up here so people aren't parking in my grass. Jessica's gonna come flying out the door and twist on some earlobes if they get up in here and put tracks in here. So this is where that old tin building used to sit, back in this corner, if you remember that. Then there was like a crazy pole barn thing, conglomeration, and then it eventually worked its way into a house, pretty much where that gravel pile is over there. And we're working on smoothing this out. Now, I do want to say this isn't traditional grading. Grading is significantly more expensive and takes a lot more equipment. They would have to get a dozer in here. They'd have lasers set up everywhere, grade sticks, all of that. And then they would put certain types of gravel to pack a foundation up to topsoil. We're not doing that. What we're doing here is just running what's called crusher run. It's the tailings essentially, or the fine material that falls out of the gravel machine or rock machine. It's cheaper and it has a lot of dust and material in it. I'll show you. So, you've got 3/4, half-inch rock, and then there's a lot of just fine, it almost looks like sand that's mixed in here. It's just dirt and dust. And what happens when this gets packed down and gets some moisture in it, it really locks in. It kind of acts almost like an asphalt. And this will be a nice base for us for now, just for getting ready for some cars to drive on this, and then we'll eventually have to come in here and do some grading. You can see how it's really high right here. It's really low here. We're gonna have drainage issues. I gotta think about that. And the city has already asked me to come up with some sort of big drainage plan. I don't even know what we're gonna do there yet. Don't wanna think about it. That's gonna be costly. We're bringing in anywhere between 120 and 180 tons at the moment, and we might be up towards 200 to 220 tons of that rock. They're bringing it on a triple axle, little over 20 tons of load. But we need to do this because we've got some severe weather coming. That's one of my mistakes. So along with my theory of, how can we minimize the impact to kind of just test this, I intentionally did this the same day as the Nashville Cars and Coffee, which they hold it at the Speedway, and it's a huge event. You guys can check that out if you want to. I thought, well, if I do it the same day, the majority of people are gonna go there. So I picked the same date, but then we got a severe weather notification. I think Nashville's still doing theirs. We're still gonna do ours. It's gonna be a super wet and rainy day. 2 to 3 inches of rain, and we're under a flash flood alert as well. So I need to cover up as much of the topsoil, dirt, grass, any of this stuff as possible. Otherwise, we're gonna just have a big old Florida bog fest out here. And I don't want people coming out here, hurting their rigs or getting them buried or whatever else. So that's another reason for this rock. Not only just kind of leveling, patching this in, making it a little flatter. We got to have some material down so everyone's not just getting stuck in here. Oh, this is going to be a lot bigger than I thought, I think. But I love it. We got to have, that's what this place is for. That's why we got this building. We have to have a place where us folks in the car community could meet and socialize and have fun. And who knows, we could have swap meets here. Other groups, car clubs, can use this place as a car show hopefully in the future and stuff like that. Well, we've got some pretty big hurdles to get through, and I'll update you on that now. One is supposed to have a drainage plan, which could be significantly expensive. We're talking manholes, drainage, watershed, all that. 2, technically not supposed to be putting rock in here. If anybody asks you, we're gonna put grass seed down soon. Here's why. The city called me and said, thanks for taking those buildings down. And I said, you bet, sir. And then the other sir said, well, sir, now that you took those buildings down, you need to concrete all of this since it's a parking lot. To which I said, sir, I'm not gonna spend $500,000 on concrete. How can someone do that? And he said, well, it's a parking lot, it needs to be concrete. And I said, well, what if it's my yard? He says, well, you can't stop you from having a yard. So eventually I think this has to all be grass. Now, talking about what I just said, if we ever had a show when it was wet or rainy out, we got a mess on our hands. So that is a big issue and concern. Even bigger issue is this Waterline issue that's driving me crazy. So when a guy purchased this building, we knew that we were limited on space, and it was always a plan to add on to this. We have to have the floor space. So we had utilities located and everything, and there's a water line that runs down the back street, and there was a water line that was abandoned to these 2 houses underground over here. And then we knew where that blue paint was, there's a shutoff valve in the street right there. Well, after we purchased the building and started doing renovation and construction, the water department said, oh, by the way, I think there's an old water main running in your property. And lo and behold, here it is. They actually came out and put a shutoff in it. And now we have an actual big water line running under the street that now has services connected to it. And this now runs up right towards Chris and Josh back there to that street. Well, what that means is I cannot do anything 10 foot of this line either side. Okay? So I can't build onto this building. That's a big, big issue. Now I can build on a little bit in the back, but it ain't gonna get us much. So we're kind of stuck. Quite honestly, we're not sure what to do mean, we can open the facility as is, but we're only gonna be able to fit like 8 cars in there, 9 cars. And again, I just don't want people to travel from all over the country and then be disappointed when they get here. You know, we want to have a family attraction, something, again, folks can go to and meet at and have fun and enjoy the experience. But now that this Waterline's in here, it's tough. But great news, behind the museum is looking really good. Check this out. So Chris is gonna, we have a budget. Chris is gonna update me on the budget with rock up here, I guess.
So let me set this down and we'll take that.
He's hiding the tools. That's probably not a good sign.
Taking the gloves off. All right, so that's load number 7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay, we were hoping for 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, that's 7. So you can see how much more we've got to go.
Oh, I'm gonna have to sell him a pickup truck. All right.
Yeah, you're gonna put a for sale sign in there. Square body on Saturday.
You're gonna have to, yeah. All right, but it is leveling off nice. It looks like. So.
Yeah, I mean like you said, you gave us 2 days notice, so
yeah.
We did what we could. Obviously, we would come in here with the dozer, level everything out, stake it out, but the car show's on Saturday.
Right.
I don't have the time to do all that.
Yeah, we're just trying to not have a Florida bog and cars taking oil pans off and hitting microwaves and water heaters and stuff like that.
It's not a four-wheel drive car show. It's not a truck car show.
No.
Well, trucks are welcome, right? But
they're welcome, but we're not out here as I step in like a gopher hole or something. Yeah, we're just trying to level this out. And you got some piles back here too, it looks like.
Yeah, we'll get Jake in the dump truck and we'll load those out.
Okay.
That'll be our last load.
The city is circling us like sharks.
Yeah, the water department's been around a couple times today.
I better go talk to him real quick. The back of the shop, big cleanup. We've been working hard at this, and my friend Kyle's also been working hard back here. I don't know if you guys remember what this used to look like. It was overrun with trees and bushes and just junk. Like 70 years of trash and barrels and old equipment. We found everything back here, tires and batteries and piles of old brick and stoves, and it's been wild, really wild. And one of the things is like, how do you get rid of this stuff? And of course, I'm picking through it, trying to find the good things. I did save some bricks. Anyway, we got that big dumpster here. So these guys came out, scraped a lot of this up into piles, and they're actually gonna put some of this in the dumpster for recycle, and the rest of it's gonna go into the last truck that dumps the gravel. We're gonna fill that and then take it to the dump, and then I'll have a dump fee on that, whatever it ends up weighing. But look how much better this looks. So we still have some cleanup to do over here. These were full of rainwater. We got some holes poked in those, some old tin, tires, stuff like that. But this will get cleaned up and eventually look like that up there. But this is pretty much what the whole backyard looked like. Now, it's looking pretty good. Look at that. This is where that old fence, chicken wire fence, used to be, somewhere around here. So I'm gonna spend an hour or two and start walking through here, getting all the cans and trash, plastic, stuff like that out. Looking for anything like this that could pop a tire. Look how old that glass is. Look how thick it is. That's easily probably 30s or 40s. How cool is that? But that's pretty much what I'm doing. Driving around, picking up junk. Uh-oh. Water department guys are here. I'm in trouble. So this is a pile that's going to go to the dump. And we're kind of working our way through here, trying to clean up this wall too. This kind of breaks my heart, but there's not a lot we could do. Who knows when this block was set in here, this rock, you know, goes around here. But these root balls have just gotten intertwined with it, and it's starting to come apart. I think, unfortunately, it's probably not savable at this point. Probably need to get in here with the skid steer and just scoop it out someday. That looks like an old hydrogen peroxide bottle or something. But we made quite a bit of room. I mean, we could fit probably what? I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 25 cars back here if we figure out how to park them correctly. The other great surprise is way back in the day, this is old school pea gravel. We're finding this under the topsoil once we get through the weeds and the grass. So this saved a bunch of money finding this under here. So that's good. I think once we get these piles out of here, they'll come back in with the bucket and kind of just, again, we're not grading, we're just kind of smoothicating. I'm gonna work on getting the rest of these weeds and stuff out of here. This is the scrap pile. I had a bunch of lawnmowers stolen from me and weed whackers, unfortunately. These ones are just parts machines. The other ones I donated. So these 2 mowers are going. And then the metal barrels, we'll recycle those as well. This one's empty. And we'll have a clean back lot. So I think a lot of this brick is from the original wall in here when they knocked it out to put this addition on. It's that block, I think. But unfortunately, you know, we dug through here and saved what we could, but a lot of this is broken. So there's not much we can do with this stuff. I saved some for the inside for patches. That one's got a little too much mortar. I think that's the side of the, well, that's an old awning that got ripped down. These vines are coming back, fortunately. And I started pulling them off, but they're taking my paint with it. See that? That's a bummer. I just gotta get some vine killer in here or something. Try to get that taken care of. Well, it is the following day. They've got all the gravel in and got her spread around pretty good. It looks so much better around here. All the trash out and everything like that. We've got a little break in the rain, and they're letting me borrow their Kubota skid steer here, and I'm out just wheeling or tracking some of this and doing a little bit more smoothing. It rained really good last night, which is great because now we can really see visually all the low spots and stuff without putting out grade sticks or anything like that. So I'm out here just kind of packing this in, and again, this is what this crusher run is good for, is once you get it locked in, it gets really, really hard. So I'm going to try to pack this down as much as I can before we get a bunch of cars and stuff on it. My friend Kyle showed up. He's the guy that's been doing a bunch of the work on the milk barn. He's going to help direct traffic and make sure we keep all of our neighbors' properties clean and stuff like that. And he brought Bland National back. I let him borrow it for a little while. And he had some school do some work on it in their automotive class and stuff like that. And it was a really good vessel to get some younger folks involved. But that's back. We can take a look at it. And we might try to move the Ralaxy out here. And Sparkles has arrived. Quite a bit of stuff going on. We got just today to start finalizing all the little things, do some signs, some cones, and tomorrow morning early it's showtime. Had to pull this little curb piece back, and now water, hard to see. Water is actually flowing down this into that storm drain. I don't know where the wiper button is on this thing. Let's see, I don't know. Anyway, now it's properly draining into that instead of flooding this corner, and it was just kind of puddling and running out on the sidewalk. So hopefully that'll kind of make its own course and clean that up. I'm gonna have to come over with the shovel and doll it up a little bit, but that should help a bunch. Oops, there's a truck and trailer for reference. That's Kyle's rig. Yeah, we could get some good rigs back here, couldn't we? Thinking backing in here, backing in around there, backing in around here, and then maybe some at an angle or something. Just got to leave a little room here. Now, something that's always happened with this property is the water comes off this hill and likes to puddle right in here, which is why I'm trying to keep people off the yard, because they're gonna get big time stuck. You know, not that my lawn is that nice, but we're gonna run some caution tape, I think around this post, and then over to there. There's Kyle, say hi, woo! And we're utilizing the dumpster. The Bland National's back. Miss this car. Looks the same, but he and the kids have done tuned her up and whatnots. I think he did cruising the coast with it. It's done some stuff. Miss this old thing though. Oh yeah, look at the brake dust on her. She's been driven, I love it. And that was the whole thing, is it's gotta get used, you know. Got some football cones I think we're gonna put out here, so no one tries to, you know, come bombing in here and takes an oil pan out. Not so much there, but right there is what I'm thinking. That's an oil pan remover 700 if I ever seen one. Oh, well, we're moving. Got stuff happening. Got to get my hot rod mower put away before that one gets stolen. Oh yeah, missed this old thing. I can't remember if the radio works though. No, gotta fix that. Haha. Gotta run some errands. Might as well take this. Guy ran some errands, and Kyle's got some tape up. I think that's fairly straightforward, you know. And then we just ran some tape across there. Got a bin out there. We're gonna put a bin across the street. And it's starting to dry. This is soaking in good. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Be interesting to see if we can count how many cars we actually get in here. So we think we're gonna go ahead and open the doors up so people can at least look in here. I can't let them in yet because of insurance and everything. Don't want anyone to get hurt, but we're gonna run some rope across here. So we're cleaning up the area, and I'm getting some of my antiques and stuff out. We're gonna have stuff laying around, digging out some trophies, stuff like that, getting stuff on display. Just kind of having fun with it. Moving some things, hanging stuff up. A lot of the stuff that's gonna go in here is stuff that you guys are so kind to send. We've saved every bit of it, and the walls will eventually be just spilling with stuff, things hanging from the ceiling, you name it. We're getting ready to push the A forward, the Detroit City Model A, so people could see that. We love the Edison bulbs in here and the block and everything like that. We got this old trunk, some other stuff. So, you know, cleaning, sticks, chairs, sticks, stuff. Risking life and limb.
If I can just hold it up with my head, I'll be fine.
All right.
And use a hammer like I've never used a hammer before.
What end of this do you hold?
This old Chilton school from the 30s. Well, good morning. Wow, look at that old Ford Ranger. Sweet. Let's see, we started about 4:45 this morning. Had to get some chores done, stuff around the property, and then snagged up a tray mower. We get done with the cars and coffee. I want to grab that Chevelle and get it back to the shop so we can keep working on it. I always got to keep the feet moving and multitask as much as possible. Called Kyle about 6:45 this morning, and he said, "Brother, we got like 30 cars here already." It is still sprinkling, but somehow, some way, the rain is supposed to break apart and it's supposed to just be overcast right at 8 o'clock. And previously, they said it's supposed to rain all day, so that's a blessing. We'll see what happens with the weather, but we're getting close. We'll see what we got here in a minute. Okay, coming around the corner. Oh boy, I see a lot of square bodies. I like it. Oh yeah. Oh, she's filling up. Oh boy. We're still an hour out. Well, the show is over and I am back on the road. Apologize I didn't get to capture much. I was able to walk around and meet just a ton of awesome people. Rigs were great. We had a little bit of everything there. Got a lot of home-built stuff, which I'd love to see. A lot of creativity and old rigs getting pulled out. It was a great time. The weather was absolutely perfect. Not a speck of rain, drizzle, nothing. Very calm, just overcast. A little muddy up in that corner we worked on, so we're gonna roll that with a sheep's foot or something like that to maybe bring in a load or two for the next time. We would love to do this again, just not sure quite when we're gonna do that. Thanks to everyone that did come out, and thanks to everyone else for understanding that we had limited space and planning this time, but we'll start incrementally growing this to where it could turn into something bigger and we can have a lot of folks out. And I would love to eventually have car clubs and things like that able to use that lot for their shows and stuff as well. But that's going to do it for the first Cars and Coffee Chaos. It was a lot of fun. We got some more work done on the building. Everything's good. Off to the next project. Thanks guys for watching. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you soon.